Hi guys, Jeff Nelson here at Slap of the Bass. Welcome back. Today I'd like to talk to you about music theory. What is music theory? Well, music theory, simply put, is a way to organize and analyze music and its most basic core component parts so that we can understand it better. And there's two main aspects of music theory, that is rhythm and sound. Rhythm is where a sound happens along a certain timeline, whereas a sound is a pitch or a wavelength or a group of pitches and wavelengths that occur together that we can hear audibly. We're going to focus on the sound part of music theory today, and the first thing we're going to talk about is the note. Now, the note is an individual pitch that occurs at once. So here's an example of a note. And another example. You can hear there's only one note happening at one time. Now the next thing I'd like to talk about is called the harmony. A harmony is when you have more than one pitch happening at one time. Here's an example of a harmony. Here's another example. Now you can get all kinds of neat sounds with just two notes. But let's take it a step further and talk about the chord. Now the chord is three or more notes that's happening at once, and the simplest way we can make a chord is the triad. Now the triad is the first or the root, the third, and the fifth scale degree played together at once, and that's what this sounds like. We usually wouldn't play that on a bass guitar because it sounds a little bit muddy or jumbled. So the next thing I'd like to talk about is the interval. Now that we know about notes, harmonies, and chords, we need a way to measure the distance between those notes. So we can do that in two different ways. One is called the melodic interval, and that is the difference between two notes as they're played before or behind each other. Here's an example of an interval. Now the interval here is the distance between this note and this note, which is a whole step, and we'll get into that in our next lesson, whole steps and half steps and different types of intervals. But the interval is the distance between the two notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a fifth. Alright, the second way we can measure intervals is called harmonic intervals. That's the difference between two notes that are happening at the same time, such as this. The interval here is the distance between this note and this note, which are simultaneously occurring. So our interval here is a fifth, because it is the fifth scale degree played with the root. Alright, so what is a scale? A scale is simply a collection of notes that are meant to be played together within a song. And what is a scale degree? Well, a scale degree is where the note falls within the scale. So on our lesson the other day, we studied the major scale. So let's use that as an example. And I'm going to call out the scale degrees as I play them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this is 1. You see those two notes sound the same? That's because they're called an octave. They are the same note. They just happen at a partial above the last note, and we'll also study that in another lesson. Alright, that's it for today, guys. Hit like, hit subscribe, follow the link in the description, and everybody remember to slap at the bass.